Hi, everyone. Carmen Dinisco from the Launch Network here. We got another awesome show today with my friend, the man to bring your product to, bringing it to retail, Mr. Jim DeBetta. Jim, what's going on, my friend?
Good morning, Carmine. Everything's good, busy. Everyone's coming out of the woodwork, it seems lately. It's been very, very active with inventors looking to get their things going. So that's a good sign for the business for sure.
Oh, no doubt, man. I mean, we luckily, and I know you too, we were busy throughout this whole thing. When I say busy, we have projects going on, but now getting slammed. I mean, these ideas are coming out the woodwork, some great products, some great ideas. I know you're super busy too. And, it's a lot of fun to see people starting to come out, right?
I think you're right. During like the whole height of everything that's been going on, a lot of people were home, and I think partially bored, partially like, hey, they may have been thinking about losing their jobs or leaving their jobs. And so they were looking for an outlet finally to get their idea going. But I think now people feel a little more comfortable financially, whatever decisions they made, if they kept their job, took another job, decided to pursue the invention full time, whatever it is, people are more comfortable and it feels more normal these days. I don't know about you, but it feels like it did before everything started coming undone.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt about it. And people are sick of it. So they're, whether they do or don't, they want it over with. It just seems like that. So we're kind of forcing the normal.
Yeah. And it's funny, the retailers too seem like they're back to normal. That's good. That's what you need. We need the retailers, who are the ones really pushing the products at the end of the day, to be on board with everything. It's still a little bit slower. I think just retailers being more cautious about loading up on lots of stuff, especially new stuff. But really, for the most part, it's the same. So that's a good thing. And we're pushing halfway through 2021. And already you're going to start seeing, I'll bet you in the next month, we're going to see on social media, like, get ready for Christmas, get ready for the holidays. It's coming.
Yeah.
Christmas in May.
And we're going to go to our subject in a second. Have you seen some of the stores where they just couldn't get their hands on product? I noticed the shipping lanes and different container problems and unloading of ships. I mean, we've experienced a little bit, not the big slowdown, but it seems like I've gone through some of the stores, which I just like walking around the store sometimes. And it seems like some of the shelves are somewhat empty.
There are actually, funny little story. We were in Five Below. Everyone knows that store, trying to get the 3-foot cords for iPhones. They were wiped out. And we actually asked the manager, and they said they can't get them. And I was talking to a client this morning, right before the podcast, who they were telling me that their shipping costs were like more than double, like out of nowhere, than what they were. So it's not only just having trouble getting product here, but the cost of getting product here has skyrocketed. So that's going to reverberate. I think as we get into the summer and fall, we may see a shortage, which only means that things are going to cost more for us as consumers. So yeah, people need to get ready for that. I don't know what the solution is short term, but I think there's a lot of additional tariffs and costs being tagged on to imports. That's a whole nother discussion, but something for people to be aware of. Definitely there are some empty spots on shelves for sure. I've seen it too.
Yeah. And as you said, there'll be some shortages of some items and different things. Like we talk about wood. I don't know what the deal with that is, but I mean, I guess we get a lot of wood imported in, but wood is skyrocketed too, all these different products. And we'll see it for a little while, but that's a whole nother story.
All right. Well, speaking of money, let's talk about something I've seen a lot the last couple of weeks on social media, where you just see people in general saying that the invention process, the things that you have to do to get your product from start to finish, should be free. Like, people literally are saying that if you have a product idea and you approach somebody in the invention business, that if they want to charge fees up front, that you shouldn't work with them, that it's probably a scam or it's probably something illegitimate. And we'll work backwards, but I want to start by saying that everything you do in this life, I don't care what it is, you're going to pay to have something done for you, or have something made, or have something marketed and sold. And in fact, if somebody offers to do something for you for free, I actually would say that's when you should run, because nothing is free. And there's always something on the back end. If they're not charging on the front end, they have to make money somehow. So you could say, well, I mean, I see this. There are, I'll use this, and I'm not going to, I would never point out any specific person, because there's a lot of great people in our business. And there are people in the business that, you know, we don't know, that probably aren't so great. But when I hear this with licensing, people will come to me and say, Jim, I need to license my product. Are you a broker? Are you a licensing agent? I say, look, that's not what I do. I have a lot of contacts with a lot of companies, and I can certainly help you not only prepare to approach a company by making sure your sell sheet is right and your non-disclosures are right or whatever. But once you get a hold of a company, I know what to say to them. I know how to negotiate a deal for you. But I charge fees for that. Oh, what do you mean you charge fees? I talked to a couple of agents. They said they don't charge anything up front. They only make money when I get a licensing deal. I'm like, well, let's compare. I charge X dollars up front. It's not much, but you know, I'm going to spend a number of hours of my time with you, getting you ready, and then approaching companies and negotiating deals for you. That's just time and expertise and experience. And I expect to get paid for that. But on the back end, I'll only take 5% of your royalties. Let's say you get a 10-year deal or a 15-year deal. I'll only take 5% for 3 years. The person may, on the other side of the equation, charge nothing up front, but they're going to want 20%, 30%, even 50% of your royalties for the life of the deal. Who makes out better? Now, people will say, well, yeah, but you know, you're going to charge fees and you make money no matter what, even if I don't get a deal. I'm like, you could hire a lawyer or an accountant or a doctor to do something for you. You're not always going to get 100% outcome that you want, but you're paying for people's time and efforts. And that's in anything, everything you do. I mean, you get your car fixed, right? And it breaks down and you get it fixed and you pay. And yes, if they don't do it right, they should make it right, but you're still paying. You pay for everything. And so I don't know why still, and I think, Carmen, I think it's because of some of the, you know, the big name companies in our business that, you know, have been around for decades, that, you know, they have commercials and they're big entities. And I'm not going to say specifically what they do, but their reputation publicly, and again, I'm not disparaging anybody, I'm just saying and repeating what we see repeatedly, is that some of these big companies charge a lot of money upfront and literally either do very little or nothing. And then worse is almost no communication between the company and the client. And so people feel like they're getting ripped off. And so when they have that experience and they go to an individual like you or me, they think that if we're charging money up front for our work, that it's a ripoff or a scam. But it really is quite the opposite. I mean, what do you think about? Are you seeing this? Do you get that sense?
Jim, yeah, I mean, you're right on the money. It's such a touchy subject in this invention world or product world. You know, one of my major focuses when I, you know, took over at the United Inventors Association was to let inventors know that they can't get everything for free. It's not a free world. I mean, you know, a lot of times for some reason I heard this over the years that, you know, hey, I'm giving you my idea. I'm giving you this $1 million idea. Why would you charge me to work on it? And, you know, it was amazing how many people had told me that over the years. And the thing about it is that you and I, we had to take the emotion out of the idea, out of the product, out of the development, because it's our job to get that product done or on the shelf or something in that sense. But if you want us to judge your idea, or if you want to give us a percentage of your idea, something like that, we just can't do that. You know, we have to step back, because you, Jim, you see hundreds of ideas. There's no possible way that you could say, well, give me 10% of your product and I'll work on it for free. Because one, you know, it's not the same as being paid. Paying for a product, you really feel like you're getting something. As you said, if I give away my work, or if I give away things, it doesn't have the same feel as if someone is paying for it. There's that sense of value when you hire the right person, you get the right work done, and you get that outcome that you're paying for. So it's very important for people to realize there's multiple ways of approaching your idea and taking it to market. And very seldom the free avenue works. Very, very seldom, right?
All right, look, let's cut through some of this and break this down a little bit. Number one, I don't know anybody that's of any worth in any industry, I don't care what it is, that works for free. Right off the bat. And let me clarify something for inventors. An idea is just an idea. I don't know where, why, how, when people started believing that because they have a concept in their mind for something that it's worth $1 million.
Yeah.
It's worthless. It's not to put anybody down or be discouraging. We're just keeping it real. An idea is just that. It's nothing until it's tangible, until it's developed, manufactured, packaged, and sold. Then it's something. It's nothing until then. And Carmine, look, you're in the development business, in the manufacturing business. If I were a home builder, let's just call you a home builder here, and I come to you and I say, hey, Carmine, I want to build a house. And I have an idea of what it looks like. Here's a drawing. I just kind of sketched this out on a piece of paper. Can you develop it, create the blueprints, manufacture the house, and do everything for free? I mean, would I really expect you to do that for nothing? Or do I expect that you're going to be paid to expertly develop the house, draw up the plans, the schematics, to then have people come in and build the house, plumbing, electrical, HVAC, framing, roofing, all the things that need to be done? You expect to get paid for that. So why would somebody come to me and say, hey, that guy Carmine, he charges up front to develop products. What's wrong with him? No, what's wrong with you? Why? I don't know why this business, people just think, well, you know, I do know why. Because we talked about this in many podcasts. Inventors get emotionally attached to their great idea. They think it won't fail. They think it's worth billions. And so they feel like that everyone else should put their money where their mouth is. Jim, you should put your skin in the game by doing all this work for nothing, because I have the best idea ever and it's going to make a ton of money. So you could just make money when I make money.
Yeah.
Now, you know what, guess what? I ran my own product company. I've been where inventors are. I've done what you've done. And by doing that, by taking the risk, by spending all that time and energy, years, money, worrying if my business was going to succeed or not, I came out on the good side. I made good money from doing that, but I took the risk. I never expected somebody to do it for me, and worse, do it for nothing. And we have to set people straight now. If you're an inventor, I don't care who you are, what the idea is, how great it is, how great we think it is. You're going to pay. Now, that doesn't mean you can't save money. It doesn't mean you can't do research on your own. You know what? Go to the United Inventors Association website and learn. There's so much there that's free. And it's not just free garbage. It's from like the top minds in the business. I mean, you would pay, I charge $250 an hour to talk to people about the things that are on the UIA website that they get for free. So I'm actually telling you, don't pay me to learn. Go there and learn. But when you don't learn everything and you need more specific advice, when you need specific help, that's when you come to me, or that's when you go to Carmine. In fact, I post on social media every single day. I've done it since Facebook and LinkedIn have been in existence. Isn't that worth something? People pay me for that advice. I give it away. We do a podcast. Do we charge people to listen to our podcast? No. There's a lot of great podcasts out there. And Carmine, you run a lot of them. There are all types of articles, information, podcasts, tools, resources, everything that you can really get a good foundation. I mean, you can make your own sell sheets if you watch videos how to do it. You can maybe make your own rough prototype just to kind of see if your idea will work. But at the end of the day, when you need to polish it, when it really needs to be done, you're going to pay. There's no exception other than licensing, which is taking your concept and having another company do it for you in exchange for royalties, that's a different thing. But if you're going to go to market on your own, you're going to pay. And if somebody tells you, I'm going to do all that work up front for nothing, in the hopes that there'll be something on the back end, one of a few things are going to happen there. Either they're not probably going to give you the kind of effort that you're going to get when you pay somebody to do something for you. They're going to do it on their own time when they have an extra moment. They're going to take care of their money-making opportunities first. Or on the back end, they're going to collect a lot from you, more than they might need. Because how else are they making a living? If their living is bringing products to market without charging up front, they've got to make a lot of money on the back end. You're going to pay somewhere. So you might as well pay fairly up front and know that for any professional service that you do, you're going to pay. And I know I'm kind of ranting and going off here a little bit, but I'm almost like tired of seeing this on the internet, because there are a few big name companies in our business that have not been forthcoming about their process or their failure rate or whatever it is that they've done wrong to people. And because of that, we all pay the price of being labeled as scammers or being dishonest. I've been in this business 20-something years. I wouldn't be in this business 20-something years if I was not doing the right thing by people. Same with you, Carmine. I mean, occasionally somebody will say, oh, Jim, I don't like the way you work, or you didn't help me. Or I'm like, yes, I did. Look at all our emails. Look at all our phone calls. Just because your product isn't getting bought up by Target and Walmart, that doesn't mean it wasn't for a lack of effort. They just don't like your product or don't think it's right or whatever it is. That's not on me. You never would have gotten the opportunity if it wasn't for me, more than likely.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%, Jim. And it's so great that you're bringing this up. I know it's frustrating for you. It's frustrating for our inventors too, because they are getting the wrong information before they approach somebody who that can really help them. And it's very important to the real thing that we try to do these podcasts, we do the training, the UIA, the things that you do for free. I mean, I know that you talk to so many inventors and you don't charge them for these first calls, and you give them so much information. It's amazing. Like, I talk to people after you have talked to them, and they couldn't believe how long you stayed on the call.
And you know what, Carmine? I'm upfront about it. Here's the big thing. And I want people to know, the inventors to know this, because if an inventor, if you're listening, you reach out to me and I've never talked to you, heard from you ever. Here's how I handle things. Carmine, you're a new inventor. You don't know me, but you heard the podcast, or you saw me on social media, wherever, or you even referred to me. If you email me and say, hey, Jim, I got this great idea for a product. I'm not really sure what to do, blah, blah, blah. My response to you is always going to be the same. Hey, Carmine, thanks for reaching out. I appreciate it. I'm happy that you're reaching out at the early stages. I'm happy to chat or email you. Let me know what's going on, what your goals are. If you want to sign a non-disclosure, I'm comfortable doing that. Let me review it. But I also want to let you know that I ultimately charge fees for my time and expertise and services. So if you are comfortable with that, Carmine, let's definitely have a conversation. But if you're adverse to ultimately paying to get the assistance you need, then I'm not the guy for you. And I think by doing that, I probably push a lot of people away, but that's okay. Because I don't want them to get on the phone with me and spend 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, and then hang up and think I'm just going to do everything for nothing. I've done that in the past. I don't do that anymore. My time is too important. And it's not an ego thing. It's just everybody should value their time. And I think it's fair for the inventor to understand that ultimately they're going to pay. And you know what? My website, it's funny. I see a lot of inventor companies, they don't have prices on their website. I put everything I charge for is public. I don't hide it. I don't just make up a price as I go along or bait you into calling me to get a quote. I don't do that kind of thing. I'm not saying that's always wrong. I mean, people don't put prices on their sites for various reasons, but I think transparency is the most important thing, especially when there's skepticism. So I tell people that I ultimately charge. My website has all my services and what I charge for those services. So people know what they're getting. Don't look at me and say you don't understand, or you don't know what my services are, or how I work, or what I charge. That's all I can do, is be 100% transparent. And then it's your choice to work with me or do it yourself or take a shot at it, or find somebody else that you feel will do it for free, but you will pay. You know, I mean, like, it sounds like I'm angry, right? Like, it sounds like I'm going off, and it's frustrating. That's what you said. That's the good word for it. It's frustrating. I just want people to know that, like anything in life, you get what you pay for. And if you're looking for a free ride, I'm not your guy.
Yeah.
But chances are you're going to come back to me later on after you've wasted a year or 2 years or whatever, doing it wrong, or being sold on, hey, you've got the best thing ever and it's going to do great. That's another thing. I don't make any promises. Carmine, I like your product. But I don't know. I could lead a horse to water, but I can't stick the horse's head into the water and make the horse drink. I'll get you in front of the right buyers. I will get you with the right people to get your product developed, packaged, marketed, whatever. But I can't promise a result because I don't know how consumers are going to react to it. We will make it and put it in the best possible position to succeed. But I can't assure you of that. And that's where the other problem is, that companies make promises. They just really can't keep them.
That's right.
And this is a high failure rate business. People say to me, someone said to me like a week or two ago, you know, what's the success rate for, and I said, for me, it's in that 25 to 35% success rate. That's the percentage of people that I will at least get them into one retailer or more, which means 6 or 7 out of 10 fail. But it's not for a lack of effort or professionalism or expertise. And it didn't succeed then. And a lot of inventors give up after like a few months. Their product doesn't get placed in Walmart, and they go, "Oh, forget it. This is the world. It sucks. I don't want to do this anymore." It takes a year or two to get placed at retail for most people. Yeah. If it was easy, everybody that invented would be a millionaire. Yeah. And we know that most are not. So it takes a lot. It takes a group of people, a team of people. When I have a product I need to develop, I say, you need to meet Carmine, because I know Carmine. I've worked with him for years. I trust him. He's not sitting at the head of the table at the UIA because he's an idiot or because he's a scam artist. It's because he's respected. He knows what to do. But we need to manage expectations for inventors. And that expectation is, you're going to pay. It's a business. You're going to invest in it. And it's going to take a lot of time. And there will be hiccups and slowdowns and issues. But we will work through them because we know how to work through them. That's what experience gives you. Yeah. Am I done now? How much time have I spent going off here? It's been a while, right?
No, I love this, Jim, because it's very important. It really is. And you know, any of our inventors, any of our listeners.
No, I'm kidding.
You know, a lot of our listeners have heard us talking about this or a piece of this in the past, so they kind of understand it. The main thing is that the inventors themselves, even if, and I'm just going to give you a scenario, Jim, you brought a product to me and it's the greatest product in the world. And I say, I'm going to develop that product for you for free because you're going to give me a piece of that product. Because that's what I hear a lot. The problem being is this: most likely you as an inventor has no friggin' idea how to get it to market, what to do, how to run a business. So really, if you want me to put my energy and time and experience into developing that product for you, then I have to depend on you as the inventor knowing what you're doing. And in most cases, they don't.
Great point, because that's exactly what I tell people. I'm like, it's not my business. And no offense to you, but you don't know this business. So you're asking me to invest 6 months, 12 months of my time, my own money in your business. And then I develop this great product for you and I turn it over to you and you don't know what the hell you're doing. Yeah. And again, it's not a knock on you because I don't expect you to know. That's why you came to me in the first place.
Correct.
But I have all the retail contacts. I have all the marketing contacts. I have all the factory contacts, whatever, all the things. And so you want me to be your partner or take an equity piece in a business that I don't control, that's not mine. I mean, at that point, just hand the whole thing over to me and let me do it, and I'll give you a royalty. It's like do a licensing deal with me. That's the only way I would ever do that. Yeah. Give me 95% of the business, and I'll take it from here. But I'm sure as hell not going to just spend all that effort and time and everything else, and then turn it over to you because you're, you know, I don't know what you do for a living, but you know, you're a doctor, a teacher, or whatever. It doesn't matter. But you're not in this business. And there's no way in the world you're going to have a good chance at succeeding. I don't care how tenacious you are and how happy and proactive you are. If you just don't know something, you don't know it. And
Yeah.
I'm not going to allow you to play on my time and dime to figure it out.
Yeah. And it's not a knock on the inventors, but what
No, not at
inventors
all.
don't realize, and that's what we mean about the emotional part of it. Shit, Jim and I are emotional about products. We love seeing products succeed. It's the coolest thing in the world, right, Jim? To make that phone call and say, hey,
Yeah,
so-and-so,
it's a great feeling.
It's an awesome feeling. But you
But
know, what people don't realize is that you see many products. So for you to say, this is the product, now I can't spend time on all of the other products. You just can't do it. You're taking such a big shot.
passion versus emotion. We've talked about this. I post about it all the time. There's a huge distinction. It's okay to be passionate. You should be passionate. It's your baby. It's your product. You should want to be excited and get up every day and do the things that it takes to get there. But when you become emotional, you make poor decisions generally.
Yeah.
I don't get emotional. You and I don't get emotional. We get passionate about getting something accomplished for somebody. But you and I also can sit on the phone and say, hey, Carmen, we got widget A. What do we need to do here? And we do the business stuff. We do the hard stuff, the behind the scenes stuff that the inventor doesn't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's all done and we get it in front of a big chain, then it's exciting. And then it is a bit emotional because you've worked for it, but it's a business first for us. And we have to be objective as much as we can to see it through. If we get caught up in the emotional part and hung up there, we won't get anywhere. And so I always tell inventors, be passionate, but put your emotions aside, because this is not an easy ride along the way. And it's going to be frustrating. You're going to spend money and you're not going to see a dime come in for a while. So you need to get ready for that along the way.
Yeah. And you know, it's really our job to give the inventor what they don't ask for, what they don't know they need. And if they're heading down the wrong direction, it's our job to steer them. And that's where that payment comes in, because we're taking our knowledge, our experience, our education, and the mistakes that we have made literally through inventing and steering that ship in the right direction, because they may not know. You know, it's just such a touchy subject. But Jim, man, I'm so glad you brought this up, because it's very important for inventors to know that the idea is just the beginning. It really is.
Because I've been seeing more and more of it lately. We always see it, but just lately there's been a rash of posts or messages, and it's about time we let people know. Hopefully a lot of people listen to this podcast and really listen to it and understand it's not us trying to push our services and our expertise on anybody. We never do that here.
Well, that's why we offer all of this information for free. Documents, things on our websites, these podcasts. You know, it's one of those things where we want you, if you don't have the money or you do want to do it yourself, here's the information.
We'll teach you. We'll teach you everything you need to know, but there are hard costs. When you make a product at a factory,
that's right.
And there's a hard cost. When you make a package for a factory, there's a hard cost. On and on and on.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, go to the United Inventors Association website. And I know you guys, Carmen, are in the midst of updating it and changing it. And I know it's going through an overhaul, which is great because times change, information changes, the way people consume information changes. You know, hopefully soon when you guys get it all together, I know we've talked about me providing some information on there. And I think it's good for the industry that the UIA comes back around in a greater way than it was. It's always been good. I mean, years ago, it was a little tumultuous. There's just, changing of hands and different people. But it looks like, Carmen, you've got a good handle on things. But like an invention, it takes months and months to get it and build it up to where it needs to be. But people need to continue to check it out and join. It doesn't cost anything. Get on there. Take what you can get. Yeah. Learn everything you can, because as we say, an educated inventor is the best inventor.
Yeah.
The more you know, the better off you are going into this process, because you'll understand the risks and the rewards and the timelines and the dollars and cents. And then you can make an educated guess as to whether this is right for you. And if it isn't, that's okay. It's okay. You don't have to do this. But at least if you're going to do it, learn all you can before you get started. And that makes our jobs easier because we're not spending all that time just trying to encourage you to do something where there's an opportunity where you're not learning the downside of the business. You should know the downside of the business. And there is a downside, but that's okay. And then you can make an informed decision and then you move forward and just hang in there. It's going to take a while, but it can be very, very rewarding. And it is rewarding for a lot of inventors. And we love seeing them succeed. And we love success stories. It's part of the business. It's the bright side of the business that we enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%, Jim. And the great part about it is that you and I and other people we work with, instantly when we talk to an inventor, we know if they have spent the time, if they had read, if they had listened by the questions and things that they ask, what they have done in the future. Obviously, we'll say, hey, did you do this? Did you do that? And if they say, no, I didn't do that. Or did you do a search? Or you didn't do this? It's very hard for us to spend our time if you haven't spent your time. So you need to really approach somebody like Jim or one of the top service providers, one of the board members of the UIA, and with the correct questions, with the time already spent.
Right.
It's very, very important to put your time in first. So, all right, Jim, we're going to get going real quick before we go. Any info, any cool products you could talk about? I know you got a lot of stuff happening.
Yeah. Well, you know how this works, right? You and I are working on a few things, sort of top secret at the moment. I'm sure in coming weeks we can divulge more, but we've got a few things that we're working on, things that probably won't hit the market until later this year or early 2022. But we've got stuff going on for sure. Just, look, in the spirit of non-disclosure, we don't want to divulge things for people too early, but just know that there's definitely some cool stuff coming down the pipe, and we'll see how those things go as we go through the spring and the summer. But yeah, it's busy, it's good. I like to see that people are out there inventing, doing stuff, getting back to normal. It's a positive for the industry. It's a positive for business. It's for local communities. Everything. There's nothing negative about bringing products to market. It makes the business world go round. It's the biggest expenditure by people is products, buying products and consuming them. So we just want to keep pushing stuff forward and giving consumers all these new and fun things and useful things that they couldn't get their hands on before. And somebody invented those things, which is cool.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, the great part about it is I've been in some of the stores down here in Florida, and the stores are packed, man. I love seeing people going and walking into retail. I know online shopping's big, but retail, I don't think that anything's ever going to overtake actual retail.
There's nothing like walking in a store. People don't want to just sit on their phones all the time. They want to get out and shop, and it's a thing to do. It's a fun activity. People like to go in stores. They like to try on clothes and buy stuff and go and stuff for the house or stuff for their cars or whatever. People want to go out and interact. There's no question. That human element is never going to go away. As big as online gets, people are going to still go in stores because, yes, the stores here in Atlanta too. Sometimes you can't even find a parking spot. It's like for some retailers, things are very good. So the ones that adapt and are omni-channel, they sell online, they have curbside service, they interact with you digitally, but you could still walk in there physically. Those retailers that have done it right are the ones that are going to win in this new economy that we're in. So I know. Good show, Carmen. Yeah, I'm happy we got to talk about this. This has been something I've been thinking about the last few days. So I appreciate your efforts to continue to push things for, inventors at the UIA. It's such an important organization. I'm proud to be an ambassador, to be a part of that in whatever capacity. And I'm looking forward to seeing what else you do there. It's going to be a lot of fun this year.
Yeah, we're having a great time. Thanks as usual, Jim, spending your time on the show today, giving out information for free, just the information as we talked about, but it's very important. We want an educated inventor is always the best person to come in and talk to us. Let us know how else we can help. please tune in to Get Retail Ready, however you consume your podcast material. Leave us a rating, Google Play, iTunes. Let us know how we're doing. And
YouTube. What's the YouTube
our
channel?
YouTube channel. Yeah, I keep forgetting about that. I love the YouTube channel, the Launch Network on YouTube. We got some great videos up there, and you'll get to see Jim and I yelling at each other. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, YouTube, Google Play, iTunes, wherever you consume your stuff. If you want to see the video of this show, the Launch Network on YouTube. Very cool. And for Mr. Jim DeBatter, for myself, Carmen Denisco, Get Retail Ready. We will catch you next time. You all take care.